What's up, guys? It's Missy. I am back with another SimCity Buildit video, and this is going to be the CoM part 2. I apologize, you guys. I uploaded it, and I didn't realize that my phone, because I had just recently re-downloaded the screen recorder, and I didn't realize that it was put in portrait mode, so I apologize. I have changed screen recorder apps because honestly, that one's been giving me nothing but problems. So, for those of you who watched that video, I know it's really hard to see. I'm going to go ahead and leave that video up for the time being, just because what I say in it is still super helpful, even though you can't really see what's going on the screen too well. But I just wanted to kind of touch base with you guys and explain to you guys, this is going to be my last CoM video, hopefully. I am going to do my absolute best. This is my last attempt at explaining exactly what you're going to want to do and how to do it. First thing is, you need to understand what a non-premium and a premium task is. A premium task is a task that has the ability to be worth 3,000 points. You will not only do just premiums versus non-premiums. And that's where a lot of you have made that mistake, okay? And this video is kind of going to talk about the mistakes that I'm seeing a lot of you players make when it comes to the contest. And the very first mistake is that people are separating their task list into premium versus non-premium. And they're saying things like, well, I only did premiums. Well, okay. You can't only do premiums. If you're playing like that, you're going to have problems, all right? Now, essentially, another mistake that I'm seeing a lot of people make is you guys are not allowing the amount of time that you need to between tasks. You're not multitasking, and you're not planning, right? And so if you're not doing your CoM prep, you're not planning, if you're rushing things or you're dragging your feet, you're going to have major problems. So you have to look at the amount of time provided, the amount of time you're able to play, and you need to cut that time down. And any chance that you see a way to speed things up, you need to do so, but not do so in a way where you're cutting yourself points. And what I've seen a lot of people do, especially very early on in the contest, is they'll get hit with a production task that is worth a lot of points and really is the correct choice. It's the one that they should do first, but they choose not to. And they choose to work on several other assignments for the time being. And it really hurts your score when you allow something to sit like that. Okay? So the other thing that I've noticed, though, is that people do the opposite. They drag their feet so long that they have like 30 tasks left by the second day, third day into the contest. And here they are with 30 tasks plus 15 tickets left. You're going to have problems. Now, here's the thing. Some of you, yes, you can blow through 50 tasks in 2 days. That's no problem, okay? But that's just it. You're blowing through them. You're not doing the best you can. You're cutting corners. You're missing points. You're costing yourself a lot of money. Tokens, items, things like that. So CoM prep is essential, right? Now, yes, you can jump up on the game and you can just throw up a bunch of points right away, blow through a bunch of house upgrade tasks, or spend a lot of money on flights, cancel the factory production and just do the other production, blow through a bunch of tokens, burn through all your VU, add some quick easy points with the launch VU, the repair VU, and the earn simoleons task. And you can get 50 assignments done in a day, and you can put 80,000 points up on the leaderboard. Now, that's not a productive or good way to go about it, right? Because then what's going to happen is you're going to stop before you hit your tickets. This is what everybody does. They stop at their tickets, or they leave it with like maybe 5 or 10 tasks. And they sit there and they sit there at the top of the leaderboard for the first 3 days of the contest. And they just slowly watch all these other people climb, slow but steadily. And then once the person starts to get close to their score, they start to get nervous and they start to add more points. And usually they add a lot of points all at once. You know, like maybe within the first couple hours, they add maybe 10, 15,000 points. And then what they do is they hold on to maybe 10 tickets or so, right? And every time you get close, you add points, they add points. But they're trying to do so without making you think that they're out. You know what I mean? They're making you think that they're out of tasks. You add some, they add some. And then eventually they run out. And as long as you play intelligently and make the right choices and go slow but steady, you're able to pass this person up. And they just slowly get knocked down the leaderboard. And maybe you are this person. Maybe you're the person that races to the top of the leaderboard right at the beginning of the contest, and you always end up finishing below everybody else because you're like, well, what the hell? I was in first all week. Well, all those times you cut corners, it really hurts your score. Then you get the people that are running a 2K average, but they have 90, not 90, but they have like 40 assignments left, and there's 2 days left, plus tickets. Now, especially if you are a 24 or below player, that is really not a good thing. It's a big problem because you have to think how many of the tasks are going to, make you wait, 6 hours or something. If you can't do upgrade tasks, you're limited to the amount of tokens that you either want to use or have to use. And then cash and things like that. I mean, you really do need to be able to hustle when you want to, when you need to get things done, but then take time when you need to take time. And what I'm seeing is a lot of you guys at the beginning of the contest will have a task for, like, let's say feed. And it's like 2,300 points or something. And it's a really good task, and it's one that you should do right away. And then people are, like, leaving it sit all day long and doing things that are half that. You cannot do that. It will really, really, really hurt your score. But you also can't afford to do 3 tasks a day either, right? So anytime that you see an opportunity to multitask or prep, you need to. I see so many people. I say, well, did you prep your shops? No. Well, if you had, you wouldn't be in this situation. So what you should do is you should be looking at your, whatever level you are. So look at your shops, go to your shop and say, okay, for this shop at a level 18 player, I'm going to go ahead and make donuts and have 10 donuts ready for collection and then have one making at all times. That way I'm not losing money, right? Now I'm going to use these yellow arrows above my shop to cycle through so that I don't have to collect everything. If you have something done in every shop, you have regional maps unlocked, you may have to store and put it on that map in order to cycle on your regional maps. Now, I noticed that they did change it to where you can't store your regional store anymore, which is stupid. But anyways, long story short, what I'm getting at here is pick whichever item it is that you want to, or that you think you're going to get a task for. Then when you get your task list, look at what pops up. If you have something at the bottom of your list that you know you're not going to collect on, then you don't have to prep for that. For instance, last week, I had a girl in my group, and she had planks at the bottom of her list for 800. She knew she wasn't going to be collecting on those at all throughout the rest of the contest, but she had planks prepped in her shop. And I'm like, why are you prepping planks if you have a task at the bottom of your list you know you're not going to be doing? And she goes, oh, gee, I didn't think about that. You're obviously not going to prep nails, right? Because those are really, low. And to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever gotten a task to make nails, not in a long time. But even so, they make so quickly. I would do something like paint or glue. And if you end up getting a task for that, great. If not, then make something else. Let's say you get a glue task, okay, and it's worth $19.80. And then you start making the glue. biggest mistake that a lot of you guys are making is you're filling the whole shop all at once. And then you get a task to make paint for 400 higher, and you're sitting there going, well, I got 11 glue in line. Well, yeah, you wouldn't have had 11 glue in line had you made one at a time. You would have been able to say, okay, I can do the paint first, right? So you guys, you have to multitask. Basically what you should be doing is anytime you look at your list, you should be saying, okay, you should be doing your task assessment, okay? So as you can see, I haven't even been on the game. So right now I have a task to make sugar for 1280 for 32. Now, given my level, that's no problem for me. Now, if you're level 18, you have 35 factory slots available, right? So I can prep that sugar if I want, or I could say, you know what? I'm not going to prep that sugar because it's so low point value. And if I do it, I'm opening up the possibility of getting sugar again. And because it's factory, it's not able to be sped up with tokens, and it's going to open up that possibility again. So for the time being, I'm thinking I should make textiles, saying I'm a level 18 player. If I'm a level 19 or higher player, maybe I should make glass instead. Or maybe I should do something and see what comes up first before I fill my shop. Because let's say I do something and I get minerals for 1700 or something. Now I have X amount of hours to wait before I can do that task. So right now, the correct choice would be what? Right now I've got a 2000 task for deliveries, 2000 for Tokyo building. Now, I'm a high level player. So essentially, I can do upgrades and all that good shit. But we're going to pretend, just for the purpose of this exercise, that I am a level, let's say 20 or 24 player. And right now, you would be looking at this launch one going, well, that's premium and you need to open it up. But the problem is the reason I'm not going to select that one just yet is because of how many 2,000 point tasks I do have available. I want to kind of increase my chances here a little bit of it becoming a higher points value. And something that I've been noticing lately is they've been handing out a lot more 1K VUs than they have been 3K VUs. So just keep that in mind. Now, for the time being, I could do the bread, right? The rolls. Or I could do the deliveries to Tokyo, but that one costs, cash. I could also do the upgrade Tokyo town building. So I would probably do the upgrade just because I can. Now, let's say that I'm a level 20 to 24 player, as we just discussed. I'm not going to do that, right? I have to leave it sit. So I would be doing the Tokyo, the deliveries to Tokyo, because it opens up the possibility of that premium task. It's worth 2,000 points. Now, let's just pretend I did it, okay? And I get that. Now, that is a task that I'm not going to touch at all, ever. Not if you're playing CoM competitively, and not if you're in Metro or higher. So let's say that I did because we're pretending I'm a level 20 to 24. So I'm going to go, okay, wait a minute here. I have two tasks that are right around 2,000 points or higher. So actually now would be a great time to do that launch 1 VU to open up that premium, okay? So there we go. I do that. Now I get a stupid regional task. Now you guys wouldn't be getting that if you were a higher level or a lower level, and that is why that task sucks. So I'm not going to touch that. I'm not going to touch that. The monster, no. The deliveries to Paris, no. So my whole entire bottom of my list, I'm not touching. Now, I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 production tasks right now, one of which is a factory item. Now, the oil cans are also a pain in the butt because those can only be made 5 at a time, and you have to sit there and deal with that crap. So we're going to pretend that I went ahead and did the bread rolls. I don't even think I have any done. No, I don't. Let's see how many I can get done. All right, I didn't even look to see what it was. Let's see. 8. So yeah, we'll do that, and we'll we'll do that one and actually do that one. Now, another mistake, and we're going to talk about that while those bread rolls get going here, is that a lot of you guys, aside from not picking the correct task, not working at the correct pace, that is that you are focusing on what choice you're making rather than what possibilities you're preventing or opening up. And essentially, that is the whole point in rotation, is you're looking at a list of tasks. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to manipulate the game into opening up higher possibilities and giving you better opportunities based off of the choices you make or the tasks you do and the tasks you don't do. By leaving this task sit here, I close off this possibility while opening up this possibility by doing this task. And that is essentially what you want to do. You want to look at points value. You want to look at the type of task it is, the possibility that it opens up. Is it just going to come right back and cause you a problem? Things like that. Does it pop up in duplicates? If it does, why would you clear it if it pops up in duplicates? All of those things is what you need to consider. So what you're doing essentially is you're taking a list of tasks that are available to you. You're separating them into two categories, premium and non-premium. Then you're going to analyze those two categories and say, okay, out of these premium tasks, this, and this can pop up in duplicates, right? This is what's available to me. This is the points value in which I want to have my, the general amount that I want to go for. Then you want to say, okay, out of all these tasks, these non-premiums in this list, taking all the assignments that you put in the non-premium list, you want to look at those non-premiums and say, which one of these non-premiums would I ever do? There's some that you never touch no matter what, like a war booster or a earn simoleons task. Those two you never, ever, ever touch, right? Now, let's say that you have a monster, a VU repair, or a gold keys. Of certain points values, you would never touch those either. So like a monster 2500, you would need to do. But a monster 1000 or 2000 and below, you wouldn't. So 2000 or higher, you need to do it. 2000 or below, you never do it, right? Now, the gold keys, and this also goes based on league. You guys need to remember that as well. If you guys are in lower leagues, you're not going to be doing airport tasks and spending cash on flights. It's a waste. You're not going to be doing beach upgrades in your lower leagues. It's a waste. Mountain upgrades, a lot of your production stuff, your war card upgrades, you're not going to do those in the lower leagues. You want to save all those. Another thing is war cards. The way that this VU pass is set up, I've noticed that a lot of you guys are not doing things properly. You need to prep for the contest, and part of prepping is doing war. Okay? So now with this new VU pass, the way that it is, what you guys need to do is you need to launch war attacks as much as you can afford and unlock those rewards so that you can get those cards so you have them available if you get put into a loop. Now, this is the other frustrating thing with what the game has done to us this last couple of weeks. And that is that you now have these loops that can happen at any point in the contest, and they can last forever, from what I've seen. I've seen loops last 40 total assignments, okay? Now, typically, it's very difficult to keep a loop going that long, especially when it's like a launch 3 VU and a upgrade war card 3, because eventually you run out of VU or you run out of war cards. But if you're willing to open up your pocketbook, you could essentially keep that going forever, right? Now, to me, that is a very, very, very unfair thing to do, and they have completely destroyed the contest of mayors because of that. And it's really taken the fun out of it, because now, as long as you get thrown into a decent loop and you pull out your pocketbook, you can win the COM, and you can put up these astronomical points. And a lot of people, and I've seen this on the Facebook groups and stuff, is people are like, oh, how do you do that? How did you get 190K? That's not possible. Well, now it is, because the game has made it to where people get put into these insane loops, and it actually is possible, which makes it even more frustrating, because now it makes it harder to identify hackers, because now it's possible. So now, unless you can prove that they did some obscene points jumps, like 80,000 points in a couple of minutes, how are you going to prove that they're hacked? You know what I mean? Like, and so they really need to figure that out. But for those of you who are lower level, you're playing CoM competitively, this is just some of the mistakes that I've noticed from you guys. Now, the other thing is knowing when you need to say, okay, I need to add as many points as I can, as quickly as I can, to try to save this bullshit that I've messed up. If that happens, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to try to get thrown into a key VU repair loop or something of that nature. And that way you can add some quick, easy points as quickly as possible without losing a bunch of, you know, hard-earned money or whatever. Don't continue on playing CoM and spending all your resources if you have no chance of winning. So I see a lot of you guys, you get thrown in with hackers. Maybe you have 30 or 40 tasks left, and you already know you're not going to win first place, but you're still trying to win second or third. Or maybe you don't even have a chance at second or third. If it were me, I would just play enough to get either promoted into the next league or remain in that league. That way you don't get demoted and you don't have to worry about all that bullshit, but at the same time, you don't have to use up all your resources. Now, another thing is that many of you are not allowing for the, so a lot of you guys with the upgrades, when you say, if you guys are following the Missy's Building Guide, a lot of you guys are doing upgrades for the purpose of the contest mayors only, okay? And I wanted to really touch base on this with you guys, and please pay very close attention to what I'm about to tell you. If you're following the Missy's Building Guide, or if you're wanting to camp, you need to be very careful which houses you upgrade. Now, you do want to utilize that opportunity to do house upgrade tasks, okay? But what you really need to watch for is you want to end up with, by the time you hit level 24, what you really need to have is 10 Paris with all one upgrade each, 10 Tokyo and 10 London, all with one upgrade each. And then every single other house should be all regular residential, as max upgraded as possible. That way you don't end up with 30 residentials that are half upgraded. Now, what is the reason why I'm telling people to have 10 of each Paris, Tokyo, and London all at one upgrade? And I'm going to tell you why. Between levels 1 and 24 is the time that you're going to be camping and building the foundation of your city. Now, in order for you to buy certain items within the game, you have to qualify to do so. And what I'm noticing is that a lot of you guys are doing house upgrades for the purpose of the contest mayors. And you're doing, like, let's say you get like a Paris upgrade 3. You're upgrading one home 3 times. And what's happening is you're wasting, you only have a couple house upgrades that you can do, right? Well, every time you do an upgrade on a house, it costs more and more experience. So not only are you lowering the experience needed or whatever given, but you're also making it to where, hey, I can actually purchase these items within my game. So, for example, if you go to the landmarks category, let's say you're level 24, right? You know you're going to be camping there for quite some time. But maybe the Black Friday deal comes and you really want to buy the Big Ben or the Eiffel Tower here. And you need 10 Paris homes to do so, but you did all of your Paris upgrades on a few homes, not 10 of them. The reason that I say to have 10 of them is for that reason right there. Now, this, you need 10 Tokyo. There's, I don't remember, yeah, no, but I think it's 10. The maximum, I've never seen an item or a building require any more than 10, okay? So I highly recommend that you guys make sure that you have, hang on just a second here. Make sure that you guys have 10 of each, okay? That way you don't have that issue, because it's really going to suck if you're sitting there one upgrade away from level 25 going, well, shit, I can't buy anything because I did 27 upgrades on Paris and I got 3 homes, right? So just always do that. Make sure that you guys have 10 of each of them. Once you get 10 Paris, 10 London, 10 Tokyo, okay, set those aside. And whatever houses that you have available, do in the whatever upgrades you have available left over. I recommend doing the regular residentials. Now, there's going to be situations where you guys have like an upgrade for like let's say Latin or something, and it's for 3,600 points. Now, let's say that you really have a really good shot at first place and you really need to do that task. Then I would go for it. But if it's like the beginning of the contest and you only have a few upgrades left, and I would say it's more efficient to do regular residential upgrades. That way you can convert them to epics without having to level up, than it is to have 3,600 points in the contest of mayors, right? So I guess weigh out your odds, or your benefit, I should say. You know, is it more beneficial to do that one task for the contest, or is it more beneficial to end up having a fully upgraded regular residential without having to level up so that you can convert it to an epic project without leveling up? So you really do need to weigh out your possibilities, okay? Now, I mean, I know there's a lot more mistakes that a lot of you have been making. I can't think of them right now just off the top of my head, but essentially a lot of it is multitasking, CoM prep, and the way you guys are selecting your tasks. You guys cannot just focus on your highest task. You have to analyze your list. Have you guys ever noticed, and a lot of people will say this, they'll say, focus on your highest task, but then you ever notice how you're like, well, how come when I picked a really low point task, I ended up finally getting a 3K task? I'm trying to show you guys why that's happening. So when you're looking at your task list and you're getting nothing but garbage, and then I come up and say, well, you're sitting there going, well, shit, I haven't had a launch VU task this entire round. I bet you $3 million that entire round that you did not get a launch VU task, you had one in your list. It was just of a really low points value. So here you are sitting here waiting for this VU task, and it's never coming up, and it's never going to, because it's already there. It's just of a low points value. Monster is the same way, you know, anything like that. There's certain ones that can be duplicated and others that can't. Now, the only time you should really cancel an upgrade task is when it's worth a really, really, really high points value. And that's, you want to look at things when you're opening up the ability. Are you opening up the ability because of the type of task it is? Or are you opening up the ability because of the points value? So let's say you have 5 upgrade tasks and they are all of 2,000 points or higher. You can't just let those sit. You have to cycle out some of them. Now, let's say you had 5 upgrade tasks taken up, but they were all 2,000 points, or let's say 1,500 and below, and you're somebody who's not doing upgrades. You have to let those sit, because the moment that you cancel them, they're just going to come right back, and they'll probably come back of a higher points value. So you really do need to focus on the type of value assignment that you have, the type of assignment. Is it premium? Is it not premium? When you make your selection, what possibilities do you open up versus what do you block from happening? for example, let's look at this list super quick. Let's say that I was to do this Earn Simoleons challenge. What does that do? What does that mean? That means that I have now opened up the possibility of getting another one. And I know that that task cannot be worth more than, what, 1,500 points or 1,700? 1,500, I believe. That's all that that has done. Now, let's say that I do this repair VU. I know it's going to come back, period. So if you're clearing a task in order to get a better task, you better be prepared for that task to come right back, right? Now, this production task here, which one should I do over, if I had to pick one, should I do the fans or should I do the sugar? I should do the fans because they're not factory. Now, it might come down to a point where I have to do the sugar, but not right now. Okay, right now I still have some possibilities open. I still have the bread rolls open. I still have the regional currency. I have the stupid oil cans, the face cream. Now, obviously, if I was picking between the fans or the face cream, I would be picking the face cream because it's worth more, right? Now, for the time being, I should be making the fans. I should have those going, okay? One at a time, not filling the whole store unless it's the only item that you have unlocked there. Now, let's say that I'm looking at the bottom of my list. Let's pretend that I have carved wood or W iron or tapestry or something at the bottom. I need to really clear that. I need to open that up because that is a very high point task sitting there of a low points value. So that really sucks, right? So if one of your tasks that has the ability to be worth 2,500 points is now sitting there worth very low points, that's going to be a problem, don't you think? Okay, you guys, so these bread rolls are going to take a while, and I actually need to go into the phone store to see what's going on with this stupid phone that I got here. And I will get back to you guys, but I just wanted to do a quick video and explain to you guys some of the mistakes that you guys were making. And hopefully, you guys, I can get some other videos done this week because, to be real with you, I am so sick and tired of talking about the contest of mayors. I could just scream. So yeah, let's hope that the Season 11 pass is better and that they fix some of this shit because it's ridiculous. And for those of you who have been anticipating or whatever, waiting for that walkthrough, I promise I'm going to do it this week. I promise, okay? So watch for that walkthrough part 4.